OK，大家好，我们今天这是第三个研讨会，然后今天是在讲怎么教注音。So hello everybody, this is our third seminar. Today we're going to talk about how to teach 注音, which is the phonetic system that we use to, read characters. So we're going to have a few special guests today, and I'm pretty excited, including students. And we also have Michelle from Cantonese Mommy here with us and a couple of our teachers. So 今天还有几位特别来宾，比如说我们的老师们，还有几位学生，还有这边有 Cantonese Mommy 的 Michelle，今天也有来，他每次都有来啊，好可爱。谢谢 Michelle，谢谢你的支持。好，我们上次呢在讲说，学中文的旅途上，就是第一要有环境，再来基础，然后最后才能达到沟通、阅读与写作这方面。而我们之前有讲了环境与基础，其实我们还在基础上面，对不对？So the three steps that we went through last time was the environment fundamentals, and we didn't even get to speak, read, or write yet, and we're still on fundamentals. So today we're covering that as well. Um, and you guys have seen this chart before. 我觉得弄两个语言有一点尴尬，我可不可以有些就写说中文，有些说英文啊？有一点像 Chinglish，可以吗？好，没人理我，我自己随意。Okay, so the pathway to learning Chinese, you guys have seen this before. You have to know how to read, listen, and speak. And we're going over, through series of seminars, we're going to go through each one. We've covered a little bit, of the fundamentals. And last time we went through word card. 所以我们上次已经讲过怎么认字，怎么做字卡，OK。然后呢，so this time, oh, and then that leads to conversation。所以这一次我们要干嘛呢？这一次呢，就是说我们上次说到，哎，我们要认字，我们有字卡。So last time we went through, we have to recognize characters, we have to learn how to speak, we need to know how to do conversation, but then there is a problem. So the problem is, see, you need 3,500 characters in order to really read on your own. 所以你今天需要独立阅读的话，你一定至少要认3500个字吧，对不对？就是不需要爸妈的帮助，OK？ And if you don't have it, then you need someone to read with you 24/7, right? 那如果你不认得3500个字的话，那你可能要爸爸妈妈一直陪在旁边读。Who has that time? 这边有人有这种时间吗？我知道我没有。Okay, so I'm kind of lazy, okay, and I don't want to spend more time than I have to, because I have two kids, and some people, believe it or not, 你知道吗？我们的课堂上面 there's a parent in my class that has 5 kids, and then when you have 5 kids, you just absolutely cannot just sit with every one of them every single day and tell them this word is this, that word is that, right? Because nobody has that time. So then this is where 注音 comes in. And then the benefits of 注音that I went through last time is, you could learn to write earlier because of this proper stroke order you're going to learn. You can learn self-expression because they can write more from 注音 than they can in characters, because especially for younger children. And then you can read independently. So then here comes the question. Here's a very popular question. 学注音会懒得认字. Will learning 注音 slow down word recognition? I think there's there's like a common thing in the US, and I don't know what started it, but saying that if you know 注音, you will not learn word recognition. And the short answer is no, because then you're saying that the entire Taiwan will not ever learn character recognition, right? So it's the method that you teach that makes the difference. So 这个我上次好像有给一部分的人看过，就是我那时候3岁半的孩子，我是先叫他注音，然后呢，我会把注音遮住，然后叫他读国字，然后不会的字，他再把旁边的纸移开，然后去读注音。So this is how my child learned. We learn 注音, and then we learn characters. Obviously, you know that she learned a couple hundred characters first. Then she learned Zhuyin, and then we did a mix of both, and she self-taught herself. This is her at 3.5.
I
有声音吗？
对，没有。
没有声音，没有声音。
哦，对不起，
I don't hear anything.
没有声音。
我这么可……
哦，嘿，没有
哦，没有
声音。
声音吗？
对，没有。
没有声音。
哦，对不起，我这么可爱的女儿的声音竟然没有声音。
在升上国上，如果有朋友来了，也没有地方可以坐下来谈天。观众为此感到苦恼，总是唉声叹气。
什么是唉声叹气啊？好，
关于很害羞，只要太阳公公一露出笑脸，就会躲起来，等到下雨天才。
So I read with her, but then she also read on her own. I think at first you want to sit there and know that they're doing it properly, but afterwards, then you're free to do other stuff, and then they can self-learn the characters. So today is about how to start. 所以要怎么开始教注音呢？因为教了注音以后，他们可以真的就是独立去学字。注音呢也有3部分，也是要认，然后要写，然后你要会拼。所以什么时候开始最好？ So there's 3 parts, right? You also have to read and you have to write, and you need to know how to blend. To know how to blend, at 2 years old is probably too young. I think the earliest age where everybody starts to get a recognition for blending is at that preschool age, where they learn ABCs, they learn how to blend, easy 3-letter words. The same thing with 注音, about 3.5. So we started there. Okay, first advice. 给你们第一个建议就是你要教的时候你要快，然后加上很轻松。You have to make it fast and light and fun, because 注音 is not that exciting. It's just a sound. There's not even a meaning to it. It's really boring. Right? It's really boring. It's not even like characters where you could put a picture to it. There's not even a picture. It's just like the alphabet is kind of boring, right? So the first part is to read and recognize. And this is what I did with my kids. We took little tiles, or we took little pieces of paper. It doesn't matter. As long as you are doing it yourself, you write it, or, doesn't matter how pretty or how ugly it is. Just like flashcards, just do it. Okay, and for every 注音, I had about 4 to 5 tiles. This is in my blog. 所以我每一个注音我都会把它摆在这种，我是去买那种人家小塑胶片，然后我在我的部落格里面上面有就是 跟大家分享说我是买哪一种的。不过你们只要有做就好，而且每一个注音大概做4到5个，这样子他们可以拿来拼，拿来玩。Yeah, you could. This is for fun because then they can, piece it together, kind of like letter blocks, right? So we have 注音 blocks. You don't need to buy anything fancy. Just do it yourself. The way to flash them is the same as characters. Do a little at a time. So I'm not going to go over that here because we went over in our previous seminar. Flash them throughout the day, many times a day. And then this is a book that we are writing. Me and Mimi 老师 is writing a book exactly the way we want to teach it. Something that is not too easy for, let's say the native families, but it's not too hard to get through because it's pretty fast and light, right? The focus on being fast. So we put, expressions, terms, and easy to read three word, phrases. And then when we teach it in class, we have them recognize ba, right? If there's ba, then you circle it, or here. This is where it's a little bit more native. 这边其实是比其他教注音的地方，我觉得难一点，因为呢，你要知道包子是什么，你要知道爆米花是什么，你要知道大象是什么。You actually have to know the terms in Chinese in order to know, okay, that one has that sound. So this is a little bit more catered towards like native speakers, but in class you will learn all of it. So then you should have no problem. So at home, same thing. You could bring up stuff around the house, like 杯子 or whatever, and then just ask them to say, hey, what sounds does it have, after they've memorized the Zhuyin symbols, not character, but symbols. But don't do like 20 at a time, right? Keep it light. So ask one during dinner, ask one after dinner, that kind. So that's how we did it before with the characters. Next part is writing. Writing is split into different ages. So 写字的话，我们会分年龄。比如说，如果像2岁的话 I know some parents love to do some stuff like this at 2 years like me. Sometimes I have them draw in the sand, okay? Other times, because I have a little one, right? And she watched her big sister. So then at 2, even though I didn't want her to really start writing, she wanted to do it because of her big sister. 所以我的小的想要跟着大的，所以那时候虽然2岁的时候我们并没有想要他去写字还干嘛的，可是他会想要跟着姐姐，所以呢我就让他握着粗粗的笔，然后在纸上面就是跟着姐姐一起画，然后我会带着他的手画，因为我不想让他的手握太紧。So that's how we started. Any questions here? So I laminated this paper so she could do it over and over. Anybody have any questions up to this point? No. Okay, cool. So this is also part of the book we are writing. So at age 5 to 7, then they can formally start. But you'll notice that our boxes are really big. Okay. And then we put way more than enough boxes in there. So you can split it up, like do a row right now, do a row a little bit later, do a row tomorrow, do a row the next day. 一次不要写太多，因为你就算写太多的话也没有用 right？ 所以一次就是我们先就是弄一行，然后下午再弄一行，明天后天大后天之类的。OK， 这个是我跟米米在上课的时候，就是你写多了之后啊，你会开始拼了之后，你就会想要开始跟他拼一些他自己知道的东西。So once they know how to write, right, and then they start to learn how to blend, then you want them to start expressing themselves because language is more fun when it's useful, right? So we'll have them write down stuff like letters to mom or letters to themselves or little notes here and there, not letters, because that's way too long, but short phrases. So I'm going to just show you a little clip.
一米么一米哈，谁的名字叫屁股？谁的名字叫屁股？S 纯自己在写，很棒哎。
So, obviously, the one who wrote 屁股 was me. 写屁股的那个是我。Because, as I said, you gotta keep it nice and light, okay? And 屁股啊，放屁啊，打嗝啊 frequently pops up in our classes, okay? It's just kind of like a hello, wake up, okay, for the students.
写好吗？写上课写。
Okay, so we have both tracing and non-tracing in our books because younger kids, they trace. Older kids can just write it on their own, or you can trace it and then write it. But we also always have enough for them to do. So here's a little snippet from class.
几个？写100个还是写2个？我觉得上课可以写5个。
100个。
100个，好啊，卢卡，太棒了！你写100个来哦，我们一次写1个笔画而已哦。
Just drop 5, okay? 5.
OK， 小孩子注意一下哦，他是不要把笔拿起来哦。你看，老师是完全不把笔拿起来，不把笔拿起来，然后这边勾了之后，
So I think the thing that I love most about Zhuyin is that it helps with stroke order. Because once you write it, so all characters are made up of little Zhuyin characters, really, mostly. So once you know how to write Zhuyin, when you switch to character writing, it's like a smooth transition. You almost don't even need to explain that much because then kids already know the proper stroke order, where to start and where to stop. So that's what I really love about Zhuyin. So how much a day do you practice? So this is different for every family. I think, remember, keep it light, keep it fun, right? So 1 minute for little kids, 5 minutes for 5 to 7-year-old, 10 minutes for writing a note or a letter. If they are older, like 7, 8, or even 9-year-old, if you want to teach later, it depends on your child, and you can work up the time or split it. Remember how we did flashcard? You can split it. 5 minutes now, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes before bed, 5 minutes whenever, 5 minutes after school, or write me a small note, right? What do you want to eat for snacks? Write it down, and then maybe I'll consider it, right? 想要吃零嘴，想要吃什么零嘴？写下来，我再考虑一下我要不要给你吃。OK， 写成注音，我再跟你说我要不要。想看电视吗？你把你喜欢的节目写下来，然后我再看看我要不要给你看。那你要写对哦。All right, so and then comes the blending. Blending, very importantly, don't use books that have super tiny print because they will give up. Okay, start with huge print. Huge. This is a slide from class. Okay, this is also a slide from class. So this tells you, again, what we follow. Keep it light, keep it fast, keep it simple, and keep it huge. Huge, okay? No stress, no pressure, fast. Only and then fun. See, we use the ugliest pictures because we want to keep it fun. This is, in our books too, we keep it big. So this is like a full 8.5 by 11 page. We have a big, big, big Zhuyin. Okay, we use cute little pictures. So when you're at home, keep it light, keep it fun. Do short phrases, do nouns, whatever is fast and light, fast and light. So this is my little one when she just kind of started.
这个是什么？
什么？
是
对，
白牙。它蛀牙了。
哦，他蛀牙啦。
大人就不会刷牙了。
谁说大人不会刷牙？我跟爸爸每天晚上都刷牙哎。
就抱不会。
抱，他们牙齿没刷好。然后呢，下面想写什么？容。 对，容。
敢。
对。
勇敢。
对，勇敢。
Do you know how old she was when she did this? 你们知道她几岁吗？她那时候开始学的时候，这时候是大概3岁半。然后你刚刚看到就是她念国字，那个也是在5岁之前，所以可以从1年、1年半之内，就是读的这么慢到变得很快，就是每天练习一点一点一点一点一点。所以速度是可以教的很快的，只是要看你愿不愿意一天就是多花一点时间，不是说坐在那边很痛苦的1个小时、2个小时。So you don't sit them there for 1 or 2 hours. You have to do it, a fast 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? And you just gotta put in your time in the beginning. This is my other one, also at 3. And then so after like a month or 2 of painfully slow reading, right? Painfully slow. They get a little bit faster.
等一下，这个什么？
晚餐。
这什么？
爸爸拿完，妈妈盛饭。
哇！
一起吃晚餐。
耶！哇！好厉害哦！
为什么还有声音？我要把它按掉。所以呢，最主要的事情是要有趣的内容，或是你自己很有趣。So you need to use high interest topics, or you yourself have to be very entertaining. So in my case, I'm very entertaining. So I can use boring material. But, not every parent is an entertainer, right? So you got to utilize your material, okay? So try to find books that have, disgusting pages, funny characters, big, weird pictures, right? 老师们，我们每次在找教材的时候，是不是很痛苦？就是要找一些很奇怪的图案。
没错，很长的毛，腿毛，还可以打个结，很长的眼睫毛。
对，就是很可怕的东西给学生看 so then they remember and they want to talk to you. 对 good. So for example, Lena 老师今天不在了 so Lena 老师 is not here today, but she retyped, 哆啦 A 梦 in just 注音. I mean, it takes forever, but we do it because we're committed here. And then so they're forced to read 注音 only for a while to get used to and get fast. Okay. And phrases are highlighted in red, right? 凶巴巴。And then this is Mimi 老师的课 where she takes 屁屁侦探 right? And she retypes because all the print is really small. She retypes everything and makes them bigger. So Mimi 老师的课里面啊 so Mimi's class, her students are maybe a little bit more advanced, so she can now do sentences and idioms. Okay, so she'll teach them that through, retyping and making it super big. Now, at home, if you're reading with your kids, you obviously do not need to retype anything because mom is just sitting there pointing to the words. But for class, we do because it makes it easier. Third thing that's pretty important in our classes, and I think at home you can play with your kids, are games. In class, we do competition games. So all kids, zero in on the game and they have like the podiums and stuff like that. And they get so crazy over it. They ask for it every single week. 游戏是我们每个礼拜必要的，因为每个小孩子就喜欢互打，打打打打打，然后他们这样就认得特别的快，这样子也读得特别的快。还有就是
还有谁来？
就是唱歌，唱歌也很重要，就是注音唱歌。这是我那时候以注音，就是教完拼音之后 ，this is after they know how to do 拼音。This is a popular song that we teach in our classes towards the beginning because it teaches like a gazillion idioms, and then, or the kids who don't understand the idioms, they get exposure to it. So I'm just going to play a little bit and see. So this is the kids in our Zhuyin class from like a year or two ago. And this is after they understand blending.
来，逸轩，好，逸轩举手，举手好久了，来吧。
天天气晴，我想要吃蛋饼。为什么我想要吃蛋饼？因为有很多字跟蛋饼押韵，例如有馅饼、煎饼、月饼、可丽饼、薄饼、曲饼、多饼、雪花饼、卷饼、摊饼、摊饼、心脏饼。
So there's a bunch of idioms after this one, but as you can see, it's big, light, and fun. Okay, if it's anything you take out of today is if you want to be successful, the words have to be big, it has to be fun, okay, and fast. So today we have a very special guest. She's one of my earliest students. I think she's taken every single class with us ever since I had our classes. And she's pretty famous among the students here in Motherliness because her and her sister's in Singapore now, but have been in almost every single class, even throughout the day at her level. Same as another one we have here named Mason, although he's not showing his face right now. When she came, she had Zhuyin with us, and she's not afraid to chat, right? So all she does is talk to me all day, right? Like morning until all the teachers get off, right? And I am very shocked at her progress. She is in our 4th year class now, writing essays, doing presentations. And I invited her here to give a little bit of advice of how she got through and survived 注音。爱美，
大家好，我叫黄爱美。今天我来教你们如何教你们的孩子注音。第一个东西就是一定要好玩，因为我小时候不喜欢无聊的东西。如果妈妈一说打开你的数学本，我就会开始睡觉。可是如果妈妈说我们来唱一个数学歌，我就会哇，我们来唱歌吧。所以第一个就是，如果你想教你的孩子注音，你就好玩一点。我第一个重点就是歌。我学注音的时候，我有一首歌叫 b p m f d t n l 像那样子。 然后如果你让你的孩子一直重复那首歌，在洗澡时也唱那首歌，那他们一定会注意，一定会注意，然后一定会记住他们的注音。第二件事就是我小时候很喜欢甜点，然后我常常会问妈妈，我可不可以吃巧克力，可不可以吃糖果？然后她说不可以，不可以。可是我开始学注音后，妈妈就说，如果你想吃，那你就一定要给我写它的注音，我才要好好的想想。然后我就需要记住我的注音，因为如果我
为什么跟我
想吃
一样啊？
糖果，对，跟你
你
一样。
妈妈跟我好像哦，所以我那么爱她。
如果我想吃糖果，那我一定要记住，否则不能吃糖果。然后第三件事就是礼物，你
礼
选
物啊，好
对，
逼，好礼物来。
礼物就是如果你的孩子，如果这个注音对你的孩子比较难 difficult，那你就可以他们学新的一个字后，你就可以给他一个
一颗巧克
夸奖，
力，
不是一颗小小的巧克力，像一个 Kisses 或一个 Jolly Rancher，
那个不
然后
小好不好？我本来在想 M&M 耶
好
，Kisses 太
M&M 也
多了吧？
可以，M&M 也可以。然后如果他们学会全部的，那你就给他们一个完全的 M&M packet。
天哪，太可怕了。然后
没了，
没了，谢谢艾美，太棒了，谢谢你今天抽时间来陪我们，谢谢你的建议。好，然后呢，还有就是我们的咪咪老师，咪咪老师，哎，你看我帮你拿了一张超美的照片
突然间发现这个跟我长得不像。
，so pretty。咪咪老师，因为你在教就是初学者注音，你通常碰到了有些什么困难呢？
其实大部分的小朋友跟爸爸妈妈都会有一个问题，就是一样的字为什么会有不同的注音？例如说，哎，我可以写字吗？还是你可以帮我打？就打爸爸。例如说，爸爸两个字为什么一个字念四声，跟一个字念轻声？
哦，不行，因为我的 Zoom 会
好，
当掉，
那大家就用想的。
用
例如像
想的。
爸爸的爸，为什么？就是小朋友他们都会说，为什么这个注音有的时候念四声，有时候念轻声。然后呢，你如果跟他，其实轻声是我们讲中文讲久的一个过程之后它变化，可是你通常跟他们讲这么多，他们也听不懂，所以我都只会给他们一个很简单的一个例子。我说，如果有一天你的爸爸两个字，你第二个字不念轻声，你要怎么念？如果两个字都念四声，谁可以帮我念一下
Mason，
我自己念，就叫
爸爸，
爸爸。所以
好凶哦。
从此以后，你跟你的爸爸讲话都要这样子。爸爸，你可以载我去上学吗？爸爸，我想去游乐园玩。爸爸，我想吃麦当劳。我说你这样讲话有够累的，所以呢，我们要让自己轻松一点，就把第二个字变成轻声，就变成爸爸，你可以带我去玩吗？就是他们其实跟他们讲到这里，他们就不太会有问题，因为你要跟一个3、4岁、5、6岁的小孩子讲太多的原因，他们也听不太懂，所以我们会上课会把很困难的东西变成他们可以理解的话，去让他们懂。
Oh, okay. So what Mimi went through is sometimes the same word, like baba, has two sounds. And then the reasoning, you don't really have to go through much with your child because you have to keep it simple. So in class, we'll give like an example of what if you didn't read it that way? Then how would it sound? And does that make sense to you? So a lot of the times with doing some things you just have to like memorize. And how do you memorize it is by doing like many different examples or go through many books or, do a lot of conversation. OK，好，我解释完了。我比 Google Translate 好。
好，就大概吧。那剩下的有问题，咦，通常都是小朋友才会问我问题。
没有我跟你讲，爸爸妈妈很无聊，他们从来不讲话。
然后我上课就会有小朋友就会有各种各式各样奇怪很好笑的问题。
Oh no, parents are very boring. They never talk, right? Right, parents?
没有啊，我的课
We
会啊
boring people. We're boring people. OK， 但我要往下哦。OK， 那我等一下还有一个 Q&A， 不，我想要跟大家讲一下说，有个就是我们常常会碰到这个问题，我要学注音还是拼音 ？Should I learn 注音 or 拼音 right? So the quick answer is you can learn either, right? But here's the thing. But,可是 there's always a 可是。可是拼音呢，毕竟还是英文字母，这个还蛮重要的。So 拼音 is still the English alphabet. And then one can say people in China use it and they're totally fine, right? But the problem is people in China didn't learn English first, right? So then the letter they see is just that sound that they make. Okay, and then there will be people I'm sure there are people like, no. See, we learn pinyin and my child is totally fine. That's great. But the thing is, I wouldn't be able to learn another language that has English alphabet and still sound okay, I think. Because at first, when my child learned Spanish, all I see was se habla español. And I think people want to kind of like, puke right now, like my kids did, because I'm reading it in English, right? Because that's what I know, right? So the same thing with French. So I think I'll always have that sort of accent because I have a bias. Now, there are some people who maybe don't have the bias and practice it a lot, and that's fine, right? But I find it so much more easy if it's just a weird character that nobody knows and you have to listen and pronounce it exactly how it is. So for me and what I see in my students is that their pronunciation became so much better once they knew 注音，比如说艾美。who thought her pronunciation was pretty good? I thought her pronunciation was pretty good. Okay. And with 注音 and a lot of the Cantonese families too, once they know the 注音, like Cantonese accent, corrected a bunch, right? And pinyin, although it's 是谁在 mute 我？是谁在 mute 我呀
我按到 ，sorry。
？OK， 我很吵吗？
没有，I'm so sorry。
Am I bothering you that you have to be
不想
muted?
说完全没声音。
Does someone not agree with this?
No, so sorry. So I'm not. Keep going.
Okay, 拼音没有办法练习笔顺。Okay, 拼音 you can't practice stroke order while you're practicing, practicing writing. You can't, it's not a pre-writing practice, right, towards character. So if you do know 注音, it makes writing so much more easy later on, which I love. And the third problem that I come up with all the time is like, hey, 我们读拼音, what books are there? I'm like, nothing after second grade, really. Because in China, they don't need 拼音 after second grade. Can you say that in the US? You cannot, okay? Because kids just don't, you can't recognize so many by second grade. You don't have the time. You're not in school 8 hours a day reading Chinese, right? So you won't get there. So if you do pinyin by the time you're past second grade level, you either memorize 3,500 characters. And this is the crazy thing. So in China, summer break time, there are actually classes that say, we'll teach you 3,000 characters in one summer. Do you guys know that? 在大陆有那种课，就是说你暑假我就是来教你背3000个字的那种课。You know that? That's insane. So to the American kid, they're never going to survive in there, okay? It has to go slow, okay? For us here, just like people in China or Taiwan are not going to fly into Spanish in a year or two, right? You have to do it by levels. So why do we need the books? So from last time, you need the books because you're afraid that the kids are going to be bored, right? So your older child would not want to read anything that's too baby or too simple or too boring. So you need the books. But then to read the books, you need to know how to read it. And for you to know how to read it, you have to know 3,500 characters. And if you don't know that, then you can't read it. So we have a problem. So that's where Zhuyin comes in. It's that bridge. Taiwan, they do it different. So you're still on Zhuyin until maybe 5th or 6th grade. Then they wean you off. So right now in our 4th year class with Mimi 老师现在教的课就是4年的课，他们有就是习作有一部分是没有注音的，然后一部分是有注音的。There's a mix between 注音 and non-注音 in class right now, even in the 4th grade curriculum. 5th and 6th, we will be weaning off, and we do comics in class without doing either. So that's how they do it in Taiwan. The point being, there will be books readily available at the fifth and 6th grade level, sometimes even higher in Zhuyin. Okay. So if you have books and you have Zhuyin, the benefit is, 我不知道 if you guys can see this in white. It's called independent, independent, independent. Independently read, independently teach yourself characters, independently do a lot of stuff. And who doesn't want that, right? So it's pretty important. So pinging 有好处. So pinging, there's something good about it. You could type because it's so much faster to type in pinging because most kids here, they know how to type in English already, what they will learn, and you don't have to relearn a keyboard. So that part is great. We teach also typing in our 2nd year class. And those that knew Zhuyin transition into pinging like within a couple weeks. I would say even less because it just comes pretty naturally. You know, B is B, right? P is P. I mean, it's not that hard. It's just getting used to it. So this is a, kind of refresher. I'm just going to jump through it. The main points here is for doing, you need flashcards, you need to write, you need to blend, you need to keep it simple and fun. You can use books, songs, comics, whatever your child loves. Okay. Tell them to write little letters to you. And this is where we're still at. Just a reminder on the fundamentals. This is where we want to get to. And the bridge here, I'm probably going to get through in another seminar next time. Next time, we're going to talk about how to get them talking nonstop in Chinese. So with that, I'm going to open it up to like questions. Does anyone have any questions? Comments?
Julie，我有一个问题，所以你
好
我可以要用哪个？
可以啊，
用中文问可以吗？
可以啊。
先确认一下要哪个语言。我的问题是说，所以你刚才的意思是说，所以我们要先有注音的基础，然后我们再进入拼音。那你会建议说，我们注音大概就是要非常扎实了，然后再开始教它拼音，是不是？还是因为我刚刚看到你们的注音的书上面有写像 b， 然后你们下面就有写拼音是 b 嘛？所以你们是怎么介绍的，或者是我们该怎么开始介绍拼音，在教注音之后？
我那时候跟我小孩子是拿例子，比如说杯子的 b， 所以他知道杯子里面有 b，然后咪咪也是这样子在教，就是说我们先把 b 给认出来，然后在页面上面把它圈出来，然后之后再进入到拼音，所以我会建议让就是注音先快一点，因为他到时候注音不快的话，你到时候到拼音的时候他也会很吃力，他觉得很烦。因为他觉得念的不够快，他也觉得拼的不够快，所以一定要前面的就是 把注音先全部通都背下来。So the question was like, do you do blending and recognizing the symbols together? And I'm saying do the symbols first because the faster you are on recognizing the symbol, the faster you're going to blend, and then they will least likely want to quit because it's fast. 那你还有吗？
没有，我只是一直在想这个问题，就是可是你刚刚有点回答我的问题，就是说你又说到2年级的时候你们会开始教拼音打字嘛，所以好像就是蛮这样，2年级的时候这样 transition 过去。
对，我们2年级教打字，3年级教简报，所以因为2年级他们会打字以后，我们就开始教打字句子，像2下我们在打句子，打完句子之后，3年的时候我们就会开始教简报，就是做 presentation，然后他们就会打自己的简报。4年的时候，现在咪咪老师在教作文，所以就会打4到5段的作文出来，这样子。妈妈是还想要说什么？
我在等别人发问，我已经问完。
OK， 好，Jennifer。
嗨，我想问，那对于就是稍微大一点的孩子，然后就是小时候也试过不同的方式教，但是他就是还是没有把注音记好。那我家是大概6岁，
我知道。
那这样子的话，你要怎么样？
雅拉。
对，要怎么样才能够协助他？因为他课也上过了，很像重复课也不太是方式，但是他到现在就是注音的底子就是还没好，有什么方式可以帮忙这种比较
那就
大？
是前面就是背的不够熟悉，所以呢，你们最好家里摆一大堆的那个注音的卡，就是单独注音 b 啊 p 啊 m，然后就像我那时候散字卡一样，起来的时候叫他读一次，然后倒着放，然后叫他读一次，等他熟了以后，就是等于再重新的复习，然后再开始拼。对。重新背，一定要背熟，一定要背熟，就好像呼吸一样，那样子才会快。
好，谢谢。
对，雅拉可能是只有上课的时候在读，可是之后你们家里还是要摆一大堆的字卡在那边。对，
好的，谢谢。
不会，Michelle。
我想问刚刚问问题的 Jennifer， 你的孩子他会认多少个字？因为我的孩子只是他认字，他能读他现在的 b o p m 其实已经忘得一干二净，他已经我忘记了很多，但是他会认字，然后因为他读书读得很快，然后每天都读，所以他直接就认字。我叫他，就是我给他每天上课的时候也有 b p m 的时候呢，他就复习一下，但是他其实没有学得很，没有认得很认真，没有学得很认真，这样子。所以其实如果你觉得孩子也学得不好，你可以直接再叫他认字吧。
这个
两方面。
对，Michelle 她是非常努力的一个妈妈，OK，她就是每天陪着志志上课，然后呢教志志认字，所以从早大概弄到晚，还有一个小的，所以他们认字的量非常非常的大。那如果没有他在的时候呢？
他其实读所有书也是读广东话的，所以他读所有的字也是用广东话发音，然后就是上中文课的时候就跟老师念国语这样子，所以其他的时候他在家里念书也是念广东话的，所以我教他当初我要他学注音，就是因为我想他自己学怎么说国语说的标准，不用我教他，因为我教他没有用，因为我教他也是广东口音的中文。
对，那如果要复习字现在不需要了，我觉得你就直接就是再加上字就好了。可是
对啊，但是他有些字不会说，我就叫他再看清楚这个注音是什么，然后他可能有些时候也忘记了，然后又要我要 跟他说一遍。但是我是跟他一起学注音的，我之前没有学注音，我是跟他4岁的时候一起跟Lina 老师一起学的。
对对，我记
对啊，
得，我记得，对，我们还有另外一个那个，就是另外一位妈妈也是，后来自己学得很好，然后口音也改了不少，觉得很棒。那我刚刚还有看到是有谁有举手吗？是 Lin 吗？Lin，你有问题吗？
哦，我只是想问你在教的时候，你是 go in order 吗？会说先教 b，然后 p m
不一定，不需要。
哦，就
像
OK。
我教英文字母，我也没有按照顺序在教，我都是以声音这样子去教。所以那时候在学校，人家会唱 ABCD 的时候，我的小孩说：“哎，为什么要这样？我有排顺序哦。”我说：“对，
哦
对，没有不需要，因为认了就是认了，不需要 go in order。”对。
，Then how do you determine the order？就你自己想教什么就教哪一个，or like
就是我们
B，
做了那
哦，
个 tile 嘛，对不对？
哈哈，对
或者说就是
对对，
抓一把，我们就是抓一把，然后我们来就那几个，可能是 b 啊，可能是 l 啊，然后就是在家里去找有 b 的声音的东西，或是 l 的声音的东
哦
西。
，OK，
可是其实我觉得小孩子他的记忆力非常好，你要他把注音背下，如果你努力一点的话，大概2个礼拜就可以了。2个礼拜，你就是不停的这样子在家里一直复习，一直复习，一直复习，早中晚，早中晚，早中晚，这样子2个礼拜其实就可以搞定了。然后之后
哦，
你就可以开始用大一点字，因为这样比较，因为背注音很无聊，right？
嗯
可是呢，如果比如说你用这个来说，我们来拼拼看电话，OK，电话，那他就会觉得哎
嗯
比较有意思了。所以我尽量会把那个痛苦缩短，把注音快快的背起来，这样子我们可以开始去做比较有趣的事情。
OK，Thank
对，
you。
不会。那还有任何问题吗？
Can
没
I
有
add a question?
呀
This is more for my friends who I have quite a few non-heritage family who friends who want their kids to learn Chinese, but
呀
there's this huge divide between learning Chinese as a first language
呀
versus second language. And obviously these families don't have the resource. They cannot know, for example, how to do the search for the characters, the
呀。
pictures that starts with B, right? Like, so what do these families need to do to get started? I don't know if this was covered in earlier sessions, but just asking for a friend here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, we've been creating a bridge for that. I'm gonna share a screen. We have a trial class session of over 10 hours of all the different classes that we have coming forward. And there's some that actually they can try. So the first thing we do now it's a bridge that I created was a beginner conversation class. So we start by learning nouns and phrases that we use every day, like from when you wake up to when you eat breakfast to when you have lunch to dinner or when you're at school. We go with beginner conversation. Once you understand the nouns and terms, then you can go into Zhuyin. So I understand that it was always a bridge because there were always people in our programs that they even say we did 3 to 4 years in immersion classes and they come to our class and they're like, I'm totally lost. Like I don't know if I could do this even after 3 to 4 years in immersion. So then they have to start from basic. So we have this right now, it's on our website. They're welcome to try our conversation class. The other thing is that just came out, it's pretty exciting. So Ellie Lao Shi and I, through our first conversation class, we wrote a collection of beginner conversations. So as you see, we'll have English along with the Chinese. We'll teach them the characters, but if you need the support, we will have Pinyin, English, 注音, writing, all with it. Obviously, it goes from easy to hard. but we'll go from, when you wake up, what do you do when you wake up? So we have a lot of nouns in there, everyday frequently used terms. So I would start there. So start with going with a program or a tutor or somebody that can walk them through, hey, when you wake up, start with the basics of what you can use every single day. And say, hey, I'm awake, 我醒来了. That's our very popular thing in our class, 我醒来了. Or feelings, 我觉得, something that's useful. Like you saw in the books that I use, that's not very useful. Who cares about cavity on day one, right? Nobody's going to use, I need to go to a dentist to get my tooth taken out on day one. And that's the problem with like traditional textbooks. Sometimes they assume that you're native and then they put a lot of like really hard stuff in there. What we start with is, what do you need every day in order to communicate, right? Start with, I'm feeling really tired, or I don't want to do my homework, or I'm very energetic right now, or, make me some breakfast. And then our books have also the audio support. So that just came out, but point being, oh, I shouldn't have stopped share. Sorry. Because I don't want our faces to pop up. The point being, I think you need to start with everyday conversations and then work to a point of Zhuyin. So the conversation class is good too, because you learn character recognition and then you move into Zhuyin. It's the same thing with how I said to teach a baby, go with words, then do the Zhuyin, then do the blending, and then go back to more character recognition, and then do comprehension.
Okay, and this beginner conversation course is appropriate for ages. What's the age range?
I think we have age 5 to like, I want to say 9, 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I'll just,
yeah.
So the resources from your site is the 10-hour sale still there? And then the beginner conversation class?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. Conversation will have a new session starting in January. It's
Same time slot?
Yeah, about 10. So yeah, we'll have two levels. You can jump in whichever level, because they're still very, fundamental. And I think it's all useful stuff. Like Ellie 老师 and I did, morning, just teaching what you say in the morning took maybe 3-4 classes. Was it?
Yeah, more for how to when you wake up, and for the breakfast, and how to, when you go to school.
Yeah.
I think almost 5.
Right. Yeah, right now we finally came home, and that's after 13, 14 weeks. In a day, we finally came home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a bilingual class then. So part of the class is done in English, or is it an immersion?
First class I did 50% in English. Now I'm at 5%, I want to say.
Nice.
Yeah. Now I'm at 5. Yeah, that's where I want to be. So they can take directions. They could, now it's pretty amazing what these kids can do. But it also takes review at home, okay? You just can't just come for 1 hour a week of thinking of miracles. It's not going to happen. The ones that do the homework and actually practice at home, they really, really, really do learn at a lightning speed, because we teach fast. Yeah.
Thank you.
那就今天到这里咯. Then we're gonna end the session. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Good night.